What's up, interwebs? It's your realtor, Jeremy. I don't know why I clap. It's really annoying for the mic. I know. Anyway, it's time for the Valley Market Update. This week, we're taking a look at some West Valley cities, Peoria and Glendale, that we always take a look at because they are the big players out there on the west side. But we're also going to take a look at Litchfield Park, which I don't know if we've ever looked at that one before. Let's get into it. If you checked out last week's episode where we looked at Chandler, Gilbert, and Queen Creek in the Southeast Valley, it's going to look kind of the same, or really, really close. One of the reasons we had a big break and I didn't do a lot of market updates was partially I got sick, but the data I had it was too delayed. It didn't speak to what was actually happening in the market. So I kind of laid off it because of that, because I didn't have any better or more up-to-date data to give you guys to really show you what's happening in this market. Let's take a look at Peoria first. You can see that the new listings did tick down, sold listings increased, and actives dropped off. Average sold price continued to steadily tick up in Peoria. Absorption rate, as we would expect to see with less listings, more solds, it dropped from almost 0.8 months down to almost a half a month. Sold to list price ratio did bump up a little more in line with what happened in Chandler, not as much in Queen Creek and Gilbert, but we went from about a little over 100 to about 101.5. So a pretty robust jump up. Days on market were above 30 last month. They came back down to just a little bit under 30, but it's been pretty steady since September. Really kind of hovering around that 28, 29 day range. Average sold price in Peoria, $523.79, up from $419.531, a 24.68% change. Last month, we sold 312 homes, the previous year 302, but we had a big jump up on the price band that was the most popular. Last year, the most popular price band was 300 to 400. This year, it was 550 to 750. Glendale, like we saw in Chandler, a little bit of a tick up of new listings, but the buyers just kept right up with it. So it's kind of a net zero change there. Continuing to increase in price, the average sale price, we saw that quick acceleration from December to January, and a similar acceleration from January to February. So Glendale's kind of going like gangbusters right now. Absorption rate, like I said, because of the new and the buyers kind of countering each other out, we kind of had a net zero change on the absorption rate, still sitting at just under 0.7 months. Now this one's interesting, is the sold to list price has been really flat in Glendale. However, the sold original and sold to most recent list are like on top of each other, which that says there's no price reductions happening and things are pretty much selling for what the original listed for, plus 1%. Average days on market right at 30. It was 30 last month, and it was just under 30 the previous couple of months. So not a lot of change there. Average sale price, $445,805, up from $340,635, a 30.87% change. That's some strong appreciation. Last month, we sold 323 homes. The previous year, we sold 315. And like we've seen in all the other cities, the year-to-year change is dramatic on the price bands. We went from 3 to 400 being the top to 4 to 500 being the top, and everything above it sold substantially more. All right, Litchfield Park. If you don't know where that's at, if you know where Luke Air Force Base is, it's kind of just south-ish of that. So every sale, every listing in Litchfield Park always includes a map of the flight patterns and noise from Luke Air Force Base, because that is a legitimate concern in that area, is the noise from the Air Force Base. But they do have a lot of kind of custom homes on a little bit larger lots. They've got a more of a mix of that than kind of your track homes, which is why the graph looks like this. It went crazy over December, January, February. Up, down, up, down. It's bonkers. I'm not even trying to assimilate that. Average sale price, we did see a spike in November, but I'm sure that was one of the larger custom homes that kind of threw off the average a little bit. but you can see it's been steadily increasing over the last year. The absorption rate in Litchfield Park is a little bit over a month, but it has been steadily declining since October, which is interesting because most of the other cities we look at, we've kind of saw it kind of come up and then come back down, whereas this one's just been steadily coming down since October. Sold to list price ratio, you can see there's a big gap, bigger than we see really in any other area. The sold to original list was a little bit over 100. The previous month it was right at 100. But the sold to most recent list price was closer to like 100 and actually not quite 101. So it looks like kind of a little bit bigger gap than we're used to seeing, but it also is a smaller scale than we usually have. It's one of the things that kind of bugs me a little bit about these graphs is that they kind of use a sliding scale. So sometimes it can look dramatic, but it's because it's been over a smaller window. The gist of it is that Litchfield Park, there are some price reductions happening, and then things selling a little bit over the most recent list price, even though the original list price was higher. Days on market, kind of a little bit all over the map, but sitting at about 40. And I think that has a lot to do with just, again, being its proximity to Luke Air Force Base. I think just reduces the buyer pool a little bit. There's some people that don't mind that at all, but there's a lot of people that it would immediately take them out of consideration of the Litchfield Park area. Average sale price $594, $440, up from $447, $989, a 32.69% change. I want to go back to that price graph, the average sold price. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's that dramatic. As we're looking at it, I'm looking at it on my phone. It doesn't look that dramatic, but the scale is way wider than we're used to seeing. Yeah, 32% change, but the graph doesn't look... Yeah, based on that graph, I would say that the price increase has been steady and not really dramatic. But that's why we look at all the numbers, all the data to really tell us what's going on. Because, yeah, 32.69% increase, that's stronger than any other city we've looked at this month so far. And likely going to be the strongest of any of them. Because Queen Creek is usually like killing it. But even Glendale beat out Queen Creek. But this beat out Glendale. Anyway, number of houses sold. We sold 89 last month. The previous year we sold 67. And you can see that 3 to 4 was the most active price band. Yeah, 4 to 5 was definitely the most popular at 38. But the 550 to 750 had almost as many as the top one from last year. So that's Litchfield Park. There's all these little pockets out there. You got like Goodyear, Avondale. The numbers, just the number of houses that sell in those areas just are small enough that it makes the data look a little funky, which is why I tend to sit most of the time with Peoria and Glendale and then hit on one of those other West Valley cities because the West Side is booming. I mentioned it last week. Nestle is putting in a factory in the West Valley that's going to add like 350 some odd jobs. 350 jobs might not sound like a ton, but when you look at it as each job there is potentially a household or maybe even 0.75 of a household, just for number's sake, that's a lot of new people moving to an area. Well, thanks for tuning into this week's Valley Market Update. I will be back here next week looking at a few Phoenix areas. We're going to actually look at Phoenix as a whole and then pare it down to our favorite Phoenix, not Phoenix areas, Ahwatukee and Arcadia. So tune in next week and you'll see what's happening in those areas. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the fantastic weather that is March in Arizona. It's like the best month of the year. Get out and do something fun. Go hike a mountain, go hike a trail. South Mountain's great. Don't do Camelback though, unless you're really, really like a good hiker, because that's a sketchy trail. Usually, that's a great one out in East Mesa. There's a ton of great stuff to do outdoors. Get out and enjoy this amazing weather. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.